Oh yeah, that's delicious. What's up, foodies? Baklava, honey, nuts, filo pastry, crispy on one side, sweet and sticky on the other. You can't beat it. There's a reason it's loved all over the world. Every time I go to Greece, this is one of those dishes I can't wait to get into. Homemade baklava in Greece is amazing. So much better than the stuff you get in the store. So I'm gonna show you some tricks to make the best possible baklava you can. And my friends from Jules Under the Kilt sent over a couple bags of walnuts. So we're gonna use these walnuts to make the filling. If you don't know who Jules Under the Kilt are, they're an amazing artisanal nut company. They make their nuts in-house. They're amazing. I love them, and I love when they send me some product. This video is sponsored by them, so if you want to know more about them, I got the link in the description below. So let's get into it. First, we're going to start by making our syrup for our baklava. We need our syrup to be cooled for when we pour it over the baklava, because if it's not cooled, it's going to make a soggy baklava, and we want a nice crispy baklava. In a heavy bottom pot, add in the water, brown sugar, white sugar, honey, the cinnamon stick, and the zest of 1 lemon. And then add a tablespoon of lemon juice. Don't skip on the lemon juice. I know it might seem odd. What it's going to do is help stop the sugars from crystallizing after your baklava is made. Turn your burner to high, bring it to a boil, and then turn it down and simmer it for about 5 minutes. You're looking for a consistency a little bit thicker than maple syrup. Now turn the burner off and don't remove the zest or the cinnamon. We want it to steep in the syrup as it cools. Now while the syrup is cooling, we need to make our filling for the baklava. Add 400 grams of nuts to a food processor. I'm using Jules Under the Kilt walnuts. Like I said before, Jules Under the Kilt are an artisanal nut company. They season their nuts in-house and they ship everywhere. These are amazing nuts. If you want to learn more about them and order some nuts for yourself, the link's in the description below. Now add in half a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon and pulse until you have a coarsely chopped nuts like this. Now the trick here to getting a great looking baklava is cutting the filo pastry to the same size as your baking dish. Measure your pan using a ruler, mine's 13 by 9, and cut it to shape. Make sure you cut from the biggest side of your pan. Some pans taper going out as they go from bottom to top. I measured the bottom of my pan, should have measured the top, so I had to make a few corrections while I was making my baklava to fill the gaps. We're going to be using butter to layer each layer of the filo instead of using olive oil. It's very important though that we use clarified butter. The reason we want to use clarified butter is there's too much water in non-clarified butter that will result in a soggy baklava. Using clarified butter is going to prevent us from having a soggy baklava, and the last thing we want is a soggy baklava. With a brush, butter the bottom of your baking pan. Starting with 2 sheets of filo, place them on the bottom of your well-buttered baking dish. Then drizzle butter all over the filo and brush it in. Place 2 more sheets of filo on top and drizzle with more butter, then repeat again until you have a total of 16 layers of filo sheets. So that will be a total of 8 double sheets. Pour your walnuts onto your filo pastry and spread them out so they're nice and even. Add 2 more layers of filo and drizzle and brush with butter. Repeat this 3 more times for a total of 8 filo sheets. Place the baklava into the fridge for 45 minutes, allowing the butter to firm up. This is going to make it easier to cut. After 45 minutes, remove from the fridge and using a knife, score the top to make triangles. Easiest way to do this is cut the baklava 2 times lengthwise and then 3 times widthwise, which will leave you with 12 squares. Cut those squares in half on an angle so you have 24 triangles. Pour the remaining butter over the baklava and place into a preheated oven set to 350 degrees for 35 to 50 minutes or until it's golden brown. Now you want to make sure you rotate the pan every 20 minutes to make sure you get even browning. Once your baklava comes out, strain your syrup and immediately pour over the baklava and let it rest for 45 hours or overnight in the fridge. And there you have baklava just as good as you can get in Greece. Oh yeah, that's delicious. Wash it down with a bit of a frappe. Now that's my kind of dessert. Just note, this is one of the recipes from my cookbook, Totally Greek, the Foodie Odyssey. I know it sounds amazing. It's a compilation of all the recipes over my career of making Greek food and my travels through Greece. I put a lot of work into this book, a lot of passion. Hope you guys love it. It'll be coming out in a few months. If you want to keep up to date on its release, you can sign up in the email list below. Make sure you give this recipe a try. I hope you liked the video. Give a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And until next time, Foodie out.